Hey guys, Mike here. Welcome back to another video on the channel. A little bit of a colder one this time, about minus 13 degrees seen now, and it's dropping near or probably into the 20s tonight. So it's going to be a cold one, but I'm about 1 hour east of where I live. I've been mostly on the main roads up until now, and now I'm kind of on the back roads in this beautiful location. And this is an eco park called Eco Park Sharing's-Berriet. You probably noticed I've been here before, and you may have seen it in previous videos. It's a beautiful place, but I've always visited it in the summer where it's nice and warm with 24-hour daylight. Now we get around about 4 hours daylight, if that. It's the darkest, coldest time of year now, but amazingly there's actually very little snow. So it's great to be able to come here and see it in this kind of beautiful winterized landscape. So I'm going to get on my way, find somewhere to camp, because obviously I've only got about 3 hours of daylight left before it comes. We're coming into the base of a little cliff. Well, I say little, it's quite a big cliff actually. You might remember I visited this place in the summer, and it was the place where there was a few of those vipers, or adders as we call them in the UK, sort of knocking around. I don't think there'll be any around here now, but I wanted to check this place out just to see what it was like in the winter, because in the summer it's just a bog and the ground is very damp. So it'd be worth having a look at. Beautiful place, a little bit close to his cave, and I don't really want any visits in the night. Can't hear a thing, which is wonderful, to be quite honest with you. But these cliffs look incredible. You've got some ice forming just on the edge of the rocks, and no hunters have been around here, as there's no fresh tracks since the snowfall's come over the last week. But yeah, a lot of elk, a lot of fresh elk track as well. In fact, I'm sure I must have spooked one, because there's a track just coming up here that looks like it's just been made, basically, as it's kicking the snow and trotting away, as it's probably heard my flipping dinosaur coming up here. But anyway, let's have a look around, see if this is a nice place to camp. So here we are at the base of the cliff. There's a lot of dead standing wood around here for making fire, and you know, loads of nice big logs and medium-sized ones, and ice hanging down. You can break that off and chuck it in a pot. You don't have to collect lots of snow if you didn't bring any water with you or something. So nice place. But I brought all my ice fishing equipment with me to fish, and I don't know whether I want to maybe come here another night. I just get a bad feeling about this location, like something's here waiting for me, as the light reflects off the side of the cliff and makes it look so inviting. But as night falls, a new atmosphere takes hold, and it comes out to play. So that location was absolutely beautiful, and you know, spectacular place really. But I don't know. Some places just don't sit right with me. I just get a bit spooked, you know. Call it paranoia, call it a sixth sense, call it diarrhea. You know, you can call it whatever you want, but sometimes you go to places and you're just like, yeah, something about this place is just not right. I need to go. I need to leave. So I'm doing that. But I really want to camp there, but I just can't ignore this voice in the back of my head. Could it be something primal? Could it be something instinctual? Could it be lack of breakfast? I might just need a cup of tea. I don't know, but one thing I was always told when I was young is always trust your gut. So I'm going to go down to another place that is really beautiful, and I'll get way more daylight there. And it's also on the edge of a lake with a beach, and basically I can ice fish because I bought a fishing card for this location and I got all my fishing gear with me, and I would like to have a go at that a few times before it gets dark. So that's the plan. Just being honest. If you listen to the ice when I was on it, it was making all kinds of groaning sounds. There's cracks everywhere. So it's pretty damn thick, but I'm just going to test it, you know. You don't want to go walking all the way out there and... you know what I mean? About 3 inches. It's not that thick. About 3 inches thick. So you know, it'll support a lot of weight. It'll support my weight, but there's a few sort of dodgy patches around. You know, like patches that not iced over and stuff. A little bit over there, and yeah, it's just not quite late enough in the year really, or it's just not been that cold. The winter started off really mild. You know, now it's only really just started to get cold now. So Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's pretty damn deep here anyway, and the lake drops off right here, and then it's about 5 meters just at that last hole, which is good enough for a lot of small perch and that. But yeah, I'll take it easy, I think. Anyway, let's get camp set up. We're expecting a bit of snowfall, so I've got a little tarp that I'm going to set up at the back. And obviously with winter in play, you have to bring quite a lot more equipment out with you. The snowshoes are a bit of an overkill, but when I pack the winter kit, I just put all the winter kit in and I leave it like that, so I never really forget anything. But if we had high winds and deep snow, instead of pegs, I use these anchors here. And I got poles and other such things, but normal pegs should do if I can get them in the ground enough. I was talking about in my last video how all the snow when it comes down just goes straight in the back of the draw system. It was driving me nuts, so I made a tarp system that can basically clip on the back like this. So that's basically it. It's not a brilliant design, but it's just really all I could come up with what I already had at home. There's another pole there too, if you wanted to have another one here, for example. But what I might use this one for is put something on top of it and have the centre at the top pushed up when the hatch is down, and then when snow really does land on it, it's not just going to collapse in the night, because that's kind of the problem with the design. Now as you bring that down, it all becomes a little bit sort of skewer. You probably need that one pulled out, but even then that's not gonna do you really any justice. So it works with the hatch open anyway, and the main thing is when I'm cooking and stuff, I just can't stand all the snow going in the back there and just getting everything saturated. So that's my excuse anyway. Basically, you know, I'm just justifying it to you. It's shit, and it's the best I could do. Always forget how painful it is touching metal in these temperatures, but sometimes you need dexterity. I've got a couple of pillows, and they're pillows in there, it's not a blow-up device or anything, but I've got a pretty decent bag tonight. Got a Thermarest Quest Star going down to -18. Should be good. It's a down bag, but yeah, I'll see how I get on. Always put my clothes bag up there. I get out my backpack. It's just my clothes for the next few days. Well, that's camp all set up. It's looking pretty smart. Hopefully the tent will be comfortable tonight and nice and warm. Obviously I'll be sleeping without the diesel heater on because I don't like the sound of it, and my sleeping bag does go to a very low temperature. And you know, I don't need the awning out because I've got this little bit at the back, which is primarily where I'll be living, and I'm going to be staying outside pretty much the duration. I won't be going in the awning room and all that kind of stuff. For me, the awning room's useful for like the family. But for me personally, I don't like it because when I come out camping, I like to be outside despite the weather. And if it's really cold, I'll just make a big fire, which is what I'm going to do tonight. So that's basically the way I'm going to roll. Anyway, I'm flipping dying for a cup of tea, as you probably appreciate. A little bit close to the fire. It all must have been very cold. It's so cold I can barely take my gloves off and touch anything. It's not so much the ambient air, but you just touch a little bit of metal and the burn is intense. But I made a little bit of changes to the drawer system, shed some weight, made it a little bit more multifunctional. So this is the camp table, if you remember, but now it's actually part of the drawer system. The legs are still underneath, held in by a strap, and you just pull these two levers here and it slides out. So you can kind of use it on the fly like this, or if you do want a camp table, it comes out and it can go somewhere when you've finished and you want to actually sit down and have a meal. Just a little bit of a weight saver instead of carrying layer upon layer of stuff, really. I'm always trying to lighten the vehicle up, to be honest. It is pretty heavy. I can't do anything with gloves on. Everything is so painful to hold. This guy's going to have to come in the tent with me tonight. I've been keeping it in the vehicle. But even last time when it was -4, it was all frozen around here. So I'd be amazed if it survives tonight when it's like -20. Jesus. What is that about? Some sort of whistling sound. Chill out. Flipping dog man probably heard that. 25 miles away. Just called him in. I said I had a battery situation, and I do. The River Pro is gone. Not because I want it to be gone, but because I did something to it, and I was updating it and messing around with it, and I screwed it up somehow and it didn't turn back on. So I got in touch with the guys and they were like, look, we'll arrange a pickup, got a DHL label on it, send it off, and they're going to sort it out and send it back. So no problems there. But I'm back on my old leisure battery, and with my old system completely ripped out to make room for the River Pro and a slightly different setup, I've kind of got no way of charging the leisure battery. So whatever juice it's got in it, and I maximum charged it and it's inside the vehicle. But fingers crossed it's enough juice, but it means the fridge can't be on. I would have it in warm mode in these temperatures, but everything I've put in here, hopefully it's keeping its own little climate going on, and it's not going to freeze. But I think tonight I might have to take all this food up in the roof tent with me. I know what you're thinking. Didn't he just light a stove with a lighter? Look, this is just my thing, alright? If I'm making a fire, I gotta stay true. The ice is shouting out, well done, Mike. You did something you've done 1,000 times. Well, temperatures are really starting to drop off now, and the camera gear was the first bit of equipment to fall. I've had it by the fire for probably about half an hour, just warming up the battery pack on the back of the tripod, trying to get it to come back alive again. It can handle -20, but the problem is I turned it off, and then it really cools down too much, and it almost can't come back on again. So you have to leave it on all the time. It's a big insulated battery pack on the back of the tripod, but you know, when it's off for too long, it just cools off. So, you know, I've had to put some layers on, another jacket, bigger gloves that go over the other gloves. You know, it's really going to drop off, and it's only 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So feels like the evening, but it isn't. You know, and I forgot my copy of Razzle, so There's a big old stack of wood there that someone's lovingly brought up here. This is a popular grilling spot, I think. I think families and stuff come here, and you know, it's a really nice place. In the summer it's great, you've got a beach, the kids can play. Max loves it here. I can't wait to bring him here next summer. Well, just before the flies kind of get real bad in the middle of summer, but I need a fire for heat, really, because I'm just out here all the time. You know, there's a lot of people just come here and they cook food and that. So, you know, I just need to keep going gathering a lot more wood, because I don't want to like disrespectfully burn through a stack of lovingly prepared logs that people used to make fire just for heat. So, yeah. This is how you have a conversation with the ice. It's been a few hours since I drilled this. There we go. That was clever. Oh, I'll do that. There's a lamp on the side of the camera, but again, it can't handle these kind of temperatures. It's going to turn off in a sec, and it might be pretty difficult for you to see what's going on in this continuously diminishing daylight, and soon it will be pretty damn dark. But you know, I'm just kind of having a play around here. I don't believe that I will catch anything, and it's not really quite the right time of day, and the visibility's poor. It's getting colder. The fish are really going to be slowing down. They're not going to be feeding. But I just thought I'd come out and do something, considering it's 3 in the afternoon and it's already dark. And you know, that's another part of sort of overlanding and camping and wild camping and whatever you call it. You know, there's a lot of downtime, and there you go, the light turned off. And sometimes you do pull out a fish, you know, at this time, and you know, no two scenarios are the same. I've got a flashing lure on it, so the visibility is pretty good. I know the water here to be pretty clear, and it's the winter, so usually a little bit clearer. So you know, sometimes you just get lucky. But I thought I'd try my hand at it anyway. But the point I'm making is, or what I wanted to talk about was, it may seem really strange coming out and camping at this time of year when basically the thermometer's saying minus 20 degrees C. It gets dark at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so there's a tremendous amount of downtime. You know, what do you do? For me personally, I just get a tremendous amount of enjoyment and energy from just being out in nature, regardless of the time of year and the weather conditions. And I love the fact that it is so different to the summer. You know, 24-hour daylight, it's warm, you can swim in this lake, you can catch yadda, and I guess, like my wife says to me, she says, I always see you come alive when you're being challenged, you know, physically or mentally. And that's it, isn't it? You know, you come out here and there's this challenge, physical challenge of your equipment and everything, and yourself mentally. You've got to continue to think ahead, you know, in terms of preparations for the harsh weather conditions, and you know, you need to remain sort of mentally strong because it's dark and you might be shitting yourself. And you know, Gollum's watching me, and he's got a semi, and he's just there, he's lurking. So you know, it sort of taps into that animalistic instinct a bit in you. But you know, the darkness can be weird, and solo camping can be kind of freaky, but it's all in your head. There are threats though, and you have to be prepared. But you know, that's on you, isn't it? That's on you, and that's on you reading the environment and making sure that you pick a place that, you know, that feels good. You do your research, stuff like that. You know, if you just go and camp anywhere, yeah, you know, maybe some places aren't so good. So anyway, I just chatted a lot of crap again. The ice is talking. forgot to put the maggots in my pockets, they're probably all freezing to death. Okay, time for some dinner, and it's going to be leftover chili that I made yesterday for dinner, but I do have plenty, so instead of spending more money, make use of the leftovers. And I don't think I'll cook on the fire because I've just made some gigantic fire for warmth, and that should hopefully all build up and keep me warm tonight. But I'm going to be cooking on the white gas on the Murica. And I've got that ready to go. There we go. There we go. Warm my feet up a little bit, because they are cold. Well, temps have continued to drop, and it's about minus 22 degrees C now. So it's extremely cold, and you can probably hear in my voice that, you know, it's kind of got into me a little bit. I've had some technical failures. The diesel heater isn't going to work tonight. The battery just can't do it. I even tried running the engine and having wires going to the other battery to charge it, and also try and jump start the diesel heater and then switch it over to another battery, which I've managed to do before in the past, but I just don't have the gear to make that happen, as I didn't anticipate that to fail that badly. So I have my minus 20 sleeping bag up there, and I've had to move the food back into the fridge, and hopefully that'll insulate it and just close the car off and stuff. So yeah, there'll be no heat tonight, and I'm going to need to go up in the tent now and get into my sleep system, basically, because I'm obviously losing a lot of body heat now. Yeah, I just wanted to catch that display of the Northern Lights. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. You probably saw it better than me on the camera, given the GoPro setup here has much better light sensitivity than the human eye. So, well, the shutter exposure basically. But yeah, a beautiful night. But the lake is making some bizarre noises. It seems to have quietened down, but maybe that's just because I can't shut up. But yeah, anyway, I need to get warm, so I'll see you in the morning. Hopefully you can see me all right. I'm just up inside the roof tent. They've been up here for about an hour and a half now, just hunkered down inside the sleeping bag. Pretty warm, as far as the bag is around me, and I also have some other blankets and stuff up here, and it's obviously a pretty good bag. I've used it before on the ground and stuff, but not in this context up in a rooftop tent with this particular sleep mat. So the difficulty I'm having is I'm on an EXPED MegaMat Duo 10, which has an R value of 8.2 from memory. So that's an ambient air temperature rating of around, which should be around minus 35, minus 40 degrees C. But unfortunately, in this particular rooftop tent, in this setup, it's resulting in the sleep mat being extremely cold. Like I can feel freezing cold air coming through the mat and just kind of stripping the mat of its thermal, of its warmth, basically. So unfortunately it's 2 below and 1 above. You know, if you've ever, I mean, I've backpacked for years, and it's so much more important to have what's underneath you rather than what's on top of you. I mean, what's on top of me is great, but I'm freezing from the underneath. Like literally it's cutting through me, and it's sort of really cutting into me quite bad, actually. So I don't know whether it's this rooftop tent, because I mean, it has no floor, it just has fabric. But you see, I have the fabric, then I have a sheet of wood, and then I have which in itself is quite thermally efficient, and then I have sort of a layer of carpet which functions as a condensation mat, and then I have the bag that the mattress is in, and then the mattress, and then I'm also on a blanket, and then I'm in my sleeping bag with then another blanket over the top of me. So I would have thought that would be okay, but it isn't working. It is freezing, like from the underneath, like not around me and not on top. But you know, if you've ever camped and backpacked and stuff, and you know, you've been on a really cold mat, it doesn't matter whether you're in an incredible sleeping bag, the mat will let you down and you will freeze, and it will be a terrible night. So given that it's minus 22 degrees C, and it's not even sort of 10 o'clock at night yet, I might have to actually call this and pack up, which I'm super disappointed about. I mean, if you know me and the sort of stuff I like to do, then you know, this will be the first camp I've called, flipping out, probably in the last 16 years actually. You know, but I just haven't experienced this temperature in this setup before. You know, so this is the first time I've used this mat. You can hear it in my voice. It's cutting into me bad. So I'm going to see how it goes, and then, you know, we'll see. But yeah, there we go. Gutted, actually. Gonna have to rethink the setup. So I think probably all that I'd need is a thick layer of foam underneath the sleep mat, and it'll probably be golden, but you know, I don't have that out here. So there we go. But you know, you've got to have these experiences anyway, right? So as you can see, I'm not in the rooftop tent anymore. I'm back in the Jeep and I'm leaving this place, which is really, really unfortunate. But basically the last shot you've seen of me was probably around 9 o'clock when I started to really notice the mattress kind of freezing up on me. At that point, I've only really just managed to get the camera gear working, by the way, and it's 3:30 in the morning. So I gave it a good go really to try and get the setup to work in these temperatures, but it's extremely cold. You know, it's minus 22 degrees C, and it's just it's very difficult temperature range really to try and make that setup work. Now I can see the problems with it in these temperatures. So, you know, at that time around 9, I basically put all my clothes on again, and I jumped out of the roof tent, stoked up the fire, warmed up my body temperature, had a little bit to eat, and basically revisited the roof tent. So I lifted the mattress, and what I've got is I've got the EXPED MegaMat Duo, which is R-rated at 8.2, so that should be around minus 40, but obviously it's suspended in the air in a roof tent with no floor, so there's the problem really. And I did use that mattress in the last roof tent in the front runner, a Featherlight 1.3 in minus 18, and it was okay. So I know it's really to do with the lack of floor in this rooftop tent basically that's the issue, which shouldn't be a surprise, but it also is in some way, because I kind of thought I had enough insulation underneath the mattress to kind of make up for that lack of a floor. But basically I have the mattress, I have a sheet of 2mm wood, and I have like well, about sort of 4 to 5mm of carpet underneath the mattress, and you know, I sort of thought that would be enough basically. And then you have the material of the roof tent, which is a sort of some thin kind of like nylon material basically, and then there's just air, so there's nothing else under the tent than that. So what I did is I took the blankets I had, which are like kind of like 2 thin duvets really, and I put those underneath the mattress to try and give it more lofting. So they were in between the wood and the condensation mat carpet thing and the actual EXPED mat. So, you know, I just wanted to sort of give it a little bit more lofting, see whether I could kind of take the edge off of this this cold that was creeping through. And then I put my mattresses underneath my sleeping bag, my jackets, both of them. And I slept pretty much fully clothed in the sleeping bag, and the sleeping bag is rated to like minus, I think, 18, so it's extremely good. You know, I've got lots of thermal layers on underneath as well, so it shouldn't really be an issue. And you know, I went back to sleep, and I actually went to sleep, and then I woke up at around, I think it was about 2:30 in the morning, and then you know, the mattress was just absolutely freezing. It was just freezing cold. Not me, not like the air around me in the sleeping bag and stuff, I was warm within the sleeping bag, but underneath me was like I was lying on the ground outside. It was absolutely freezing. So I guess it held up for a while, but eventually that cold air just got through and just kind of got me basically, and it ended up freezing me and waking me up, which is just what happens. I mean, I'm no stranger to backpacking. I'm no stranger to bushcrafting, camping and sleeping rough. You know, but minus 22 degrees C and those kind of conditions they're pretty difficult to sort of like tough it through the night, if you understand what I mean. You know, you can tough it through the night. I've done it many times. You know, especially when I was younger, I couldn't afford good gear and everything. But yeah, it's very difficult to do that in those kind of temperatures. So I decided to call it. You know, got warmed up again with the fire. Bigfoot came along. He did keep me warm quite a while actually, but I hope you enjoyed this video. You know, you know, obviously if you have any advice, please write it in the description below. You know, I'm not one of these people who's like butt hurt by people sort of, you know, with more experience than me sort of, you know, shining a light on sort of my flaws and that. You know, just you know, go for it, and you know, I'll just delete your comment. But thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Oh, Bigfoot's ringing me again. God, mate, honestly, you give him an inch and it's just so needy. I'm just gonna hang up on him.